In this video, we're going to talk about the law of cosines. So much like the law of sines, law of cosines deals with non-right triangles and solving them for either an angle or a side length. So where law of sines dealt with two sides and two angles, law of cosines deals with all three sides and just one angle. So they each deal with four things, but cosine has all three sides and just one angle. So the way that we have these three different equations here, which are essentially the same equation if you understand how to use it, is depending on what we're looking for. So if we start here with c squared, so it's this length here is going to be equal to the square of this side plus the square of this side minus 2 times this length times the cosine of the angle that we're starting with here. So the way that I remember it is the relationship between the length on the outside is going to match the cosine down here. And the other two sides you're always going to square, right? So if we're talking about B, we're going to talk about A and C. If we're talking about A, we're going to talk about the other two, B and C. And C is on the end, B is on the end, and A is on the end. So really it's the same pattern, it just depends on the side that we are solving for. So let's look at this example here. So I'm given two sides and an angle, and I'm dealing with three sides and an angle, so I know I'm going to use law of cosines. So I'm going to use the equation that has the a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine of a. And really all I do is plug in my information into here, and it will give me a squared, take the square root, solve for that. So what I've done is I've plugged in everything, I have a squared, I get this, and then I take the square root of it, and a is approximately 13.2778. So in this next example, I have three side lengths, and I'm going to be solving for angle B. And I know I got to use law of cosines because I have three sides, one angle. Now, I'm going to set up this equation in the same way, except now I'm looking for angle B. So that means I have to start with side B. So that equation is going to be this one because I'm using the leftover sides, A and C, where I'm going to need to solve for that guy. So it's going to require slightly more arithmetic, but it's the same process as our last example. So I'm going to plug in my information and solve for this. Once I plug everything in, the only thing that differs from our last example is that I'm going to solve for B, which requires me to use arc cos, or that cos to the -1 power in my calculator. So I simplify everything down. I simplified these guys and these guys. I moved 225 over here, so I'm left with 99 equals this -216 times cosine of B. I divide 99 by that. So I know the ratio of cosine of B is going to be 99 divided by that -216. I use my calculator, and I find angle B to be roughly 117.28 degrees. And that's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching.